Fitness is so fucking confusing in 2026 because people in Group A are saying one thing.
Why is the carnivore diet so bad?
Humans do not need carbohydrate.
Creatine is killing your kidneys.
But Group B is saying the exact opposite thing.
Best I ever felt was when I was on the carnivore diet.
Athletes need carbohydrates.
Creatine is probably the best ingredient there is.
Everything is good, but somehow everything is bad at the same time. Because the fitness industry in 2026 is built on confusing people so that they buy into bullshit supplements, bullshit programs, quick fixes, and make people think progress can only come from the newest trend. But it's all bullshit and it doesn't have to be so confusing. So I want to give you the only 4 things to focus on that don't take hours on end every week, but will still get you looking in easily the best shape of your life in 2026. So let's get into it. Nutrition is first. Starting with calories. Calories is just how we measure the energy in food. From this, we can then talk about our calorie intake. And there's 3 different kinds. There is maintenance, calorie deficit, and calorie surplus. Maintenance, deficit, surplus. Maintenance is how many calories you need to function without gaining fat or losing fat. Deficit is when you eat less calories, so therefore you burn fat. And then surplus is when you eat too many calories, you have too much energy, and your body needs to store this energy somewhere, which is fat. To get fit, most of the time we're going to be talking about a deficit. But to find your calorie deficit, you need to know your maintenance calories. So, how do we know that? There's countless calculators online, or there's a link in the description with a table which makes it super easy. All you need is your body weight. So, all we need to know is our body weight and how many calories we need to eat for a day. From there, let's say our maintenance calories is 2,000. To eat in a calorie deficit, we have to eat below 2,000 calories. Let's say the green is our maintenance calories, and then the red is our calorie deficit. This difference between the maintenance calories and the calorie deficit, it needs to be made up, which your body does by burning fat. So when you burn fat, it makes up this extra energy so that your body can keep the lights going and keep you alive. So, calorie deficit. You want to eat anywhere 300 to 400 below this number. So since it's 2,000, we would be eating at, let's go the middle, 1,650 calories a day to be in a calorie deficit. But how do we know if we're actually losing weight? Well, you're going to have to track your body weight every day so that you know if this calorie deficit is actually working and you're losing weight from it. But eventually, this 1,650, it will stop being a calorie deficit. Because if it's actually working and you're losing weight, you're going to be weighing less, which means your body's not going to have to spend as much energy for you to function, for you to move, because there's literally less of you to fuel. So this will eventually become your maintenance calories. So how do you know when to drop this 1,650? If your body weight stays the same for 2 weeks, you're then going to drop another 200 calories out of this 1,650. So then it will become 1,450. Jesus. Then you'll just keep repeating this cycle until you're the weight that you want to be. But with calories, we have to talk about our macronutrients. So there's protein, carbs, and fat. Protein and carbs, they are both 4 calories per gram. And then fat here is 9 calories per gram. You need to be having all of these to make sure that you're actually giving your body the nutrients it needs. So let's go on protein first. How much protein should you be eating a day? Pretty easy. We just need your body weight, and then we times it by 2. This will give us our daily protein intake. So let's say you weigh 70 kilos. That would just be 70 times 2. That equals 140 grams of protein per day, which we want to space out over however many meals we have for the day. So if you're going to have 4 meals a day, that would be 140 divided by 4, which is 35. So you would eat about 35-ish grams per meal. At the end of the day though, per meal doesn't really matter as long as you're hitting the 140 grams every single day. This way you'll keep the muscle that you already have and you'll probably even gain some. But it probably is a good idea to drip feed this 140 grams across the whole day because you're going to basically be giving your muscles a constant stream of nutrients and everything good and juicy for them that they need to grow. And you probably want to get it from animal sources most of the time. Doesn't matter too much, but animal sources, they're just better. Sorry, vegans, get fucked. Next up, we're going to skip carbs and we're going to go to fat first. Oh, what pen am I using? With fat, you want to be eating 0.6 to 1.2 grams per day. So, same thing again, you're just going to get your body weight and times it by this range. We'll use 0.6 in this example. So 70 times 0.6, and that will equal, I am clearly not Asian enough for this, 42 grams. But let's just round it up and have a nice whole number. So 45 grams a day of fat. Then for how many carbs we need to eat a day, we just need to fill out the rest of our calories. Because we know protein is 4 calories per gram and fat is 9 calories per gram, let's just do the math. We go 140 times 4, 560, and 45 times 9, 405. So together we get 965 calories from these two. Now, if our calorie intake was 2,000 per day, we would simply just go 2,000 minus 965, and we would get 1,035. So we'd get just over 1,000 calories from carbs. But because we do know that 1 gram of carbs is 4 calories, we can just go this number divided by 4. 1035. 258 grams of carbs per day. So we'll get all these numbers together. So that's 140 grams of protein, 200 and let's just round up, 60 grams of carbs, and 45 grams of fat. That's how you find your macros for the day. Honestly, if you don't want to do this, that's fine. As long as you stick to your calorie intake and you hit your protein goal, that's all you need. All of this, not gonna lie, it's sort of confusing as fuck. I get it. But there's a link in the description for my coaching offer. If you use the code for free, you'll actually get the first 4 weeks free, where I do all this for you. Moving on. So, first question. How often should you be training? Honestly, does not matter. As often as you can. At the end of the day, you will grow the most amount of muscle by just staying consistent. So, if you can only go 3 days out of the week, you're only going 3 days out of the week. If you can do 4 or 5, that's great. That means you're going 4 or 5 days in a week. At the end of the day, muscle growth is a marathon, not a sprint. So, as long as you are consistent, you will grow muscle. Consistency is literally all that matters. So you need to just make a program that you can consistently follow and will keep you going, that you enjoy. If you do need a list of programs, there's another link in the description with a bunch of templates that you can use for free. But how hard should you be training? People throw around a lot of words like RPE and RIR. At the end of the day, they're both the same. It's just a measure of how hard you worked. RPE is 1 to 10. And RIR is 0 to normally 10. But this is just rate of perceived effort, how hard you think you went from 1 to 10. And this is just reps in reserve, how many reps you think you had left before you wouldn't be able to lift the weight up anymore. Personally, RPE, significantly fucking easier. Because all you need to do is, once you finish your set, you go, oh, how hard out of 10 did I think I actually worked? And for muscle growth, if it's anything 8 or above, that's the wrong one, you will grow muscle. Reps in reserve is the complete opposite. If you're a weirdo, you can use this. Basically, you want to be training 0 to 3 reps in reserve, which means you couldn't lift the weight up anymore, or you could only do 3 more reps before you wouldn't be able to. In my personal experience, reps in reserve, significantly harder to measure, especially if you're just starting out. So I would stick to RPE. If you think you worked at an 8 out of 10 or higher, you will grow muscle. But what type of exercises should you do with these? Well, there's 2 kinds of exercises. There is compound, isolated. The most common muscle groups you'll use for compound lifts would be chest, back, and legs. And then your isolated would be all the smaller muscle groups like your biceps, triceps, shoulders, and calves. I'm gonna change this to exercises. With your training, you definitely want to have compound and isolated. If you're just starting out as well, compound, they're a lot easier to do. They're called compound because they use multiple muscles. So with your legs, you also use your core, you use a little bit of your back. With your back, you use your core. With your chest, you use your core, your shoulders, a little bit of everything. So when you're just starting out, these are definitely a lot easier because you use more muscles. In a training session though, you want to do 2 to 3 exercises for compounds, and you want to look at doing 1 or 2 for isolated. The compounds are a little bit higher because let's say you're training your chest. Since you are using other muscles, you want to do a little bit more so that you're using your chest a bit more often and so it grows more. With your isolated though, since it's only just that muscle group, you only need to do 1 or 2 exercises because it's only that muscle getting worked. But how many sets and reps should you do? Sets, reps. Reps is when you perform the exercise once, and sets is how many reps you do without rest. let's start with reps. To grow muscle, the range is anywhere from 5 to 50 reps. I don't know about you, fuck doing 50 reps or something though. A good range that I've found is 8 and 20 reps. If you're gonna do compound movements, I'd stay at the lower end of this, say 8 to 12. But if you're doing isolated, do the higher range of this, 12 to 20. Obviously, you can train how you want though. Again, it's whatever you like and will keep you consistently going. But I will say, the heavier you go with isolated, it gets a lot harder to do it with right form and actually hit the muscle properly because you're just going heavier, so it's a lot harder because it's only using one muscle. The opposite is true for compound though, because if you go too high in reps, it's gonna feel like you're doing cardio instead of actually trying to grow muscle. So that's the reps, anywhere from 5 to 50, but personal preference, anywhere between 8 and 20. So how many sets should you be doing with this amount of reps? For your big muscle groups, chest, back, and legs, per session between all your exercises, I would be doing anywhere from 4 to 10 sets. Let me break this down. If you were doing chest and you did 3 exercises with 2 sets in each, that's 6 total sets for that session. That's a good number because it's in the 4 to 10 range. Same goes with back and legs. But if you're doing smaller muscles like your biceps, triceps, shoulders, and calves, honestly, same thing, 4 to 10 sets. But again, all of this comes down to whatever you do to stay consistent. So if you only like doing 2 sets or something, do 2 sets. Muscle growth is a marathon, not a sprint. Make sure you enjoy it. This is all just more of an optimal way to make sure you build the most amount of muscle for your effort. Lastly, that's really all you need to know about training. So let's move on to the last thing. The big buzzword in fitness, supplements. Now, there is a hot reason I left supplements until last. Think about supplements as icing and training and nutrition as cake. Yes, icing is nice, but it is fucking useless without cake, which is why you want to be making sure you're doing training and nutrition as best as possible before you go and add supplements. But do you need to take supplements to grow muscle? Absolutely not. Again, they are icing, but if you are going to take anything, by far the best thing you can take, creatine. By far the most researched thing. It will 100% help you to get more fit. It gives you more energy and it helps you to build more muscle. But it is a supplement and it isn't necessary. Again, icing, cake. Make sure you are doing your training and nutrition well before you then go and introduce supplements. And that is everything you need to know to get fit in 2026. Make sure you're actually ticking all the big boxes. Your calorie deficit, your protein intake, training hard where after every set you think you worked at an 8 out of 10, and just repeating all of this and staying consistent. We don't have to overcomplicate it. It's pretty simple. Let's not miss the forest for the trees. This is the forest. Focusing on literally these 3 things, calorie deficit, protein intake, training hard. If you do this, you will literally get 80% of the results without having to worry about what supplements to take, whether you should do saunas and ice baths, whether seed oils are killing you. All of this boils down to doing these 3 things to get fit. Eat in a calorie deficit, hit your protein intake, train hard. Do all this, you will get fit in 2026. And if you do need more help, don't forget, there's all the links in the description. Make sure you use the code FORFREE to get your first 4 weeks free in the coaching cohort. And there's also the guides to find your maintenance calories and different training programs that you could use. Do this, you'll get fit in 2026. That's simple. Don't overcomplicate it.